Hello guys, today we learn about Python FastAPI and MongoDB. To know more about FastAPI, you can follow this tutorial. I'll mention this link in the comment section. So what tools we're going to use today? We will be using Visual Studio Code, Postman and MongoDB. For Visual Studio Code, you can follow this URL if you want to know more about installation and how to use it. You can use this link to download Postman, and you can use this link for the MongoDB. Let's start with creating an account in MongoDB. Let's create a free account. Your company, Mongo. I'm learning MongoDB. You can enter your email ID. Learn. Your first name and your password. Let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, so what you can do here is you can pick up your preferred language. Let's pick up Python. Continue. Choose this option of creating a free cluster. Choose any location nearby to you. Create cluster. Now the best part here is you will get a checklist over here. So you keep going one by one and finish the account creation. Now create your first database user. Database access. Add new database user. Let's make a test user. Add user. Now add IP to your access list. Go to network access, add IP address. Click this option. Next, you can load the sample data. This is not required for this exercise, but if you want to do, you can click this option. And the last thing is to click connect. Now connect has three options. Connect using Mongo Shell application or MongoDB Campus. As we'll be using Python to connect, so click this one. Choose Python here and the version what you are using. Copy this URL and paste in your code editor. Now just to hide the password, I've created this variable var underscore mongo pass, and I'm storing the value of password in this variable. So let's use this variable in the connection string. Replace the password. You can replace the password with the actual password. Now here we create a new variable var underscore URL. Okay, so this is a variable created which has the connection string, and this variable has the password. Now let's start our development. From FastAPI, import FastAPI. Then we need Mongo. From PyMongo, import Mongo client. As we are using OS, so we have to import OS, and in further code we will be using an optional variable. So let's import optional from typing import optional. So here we have imported the modules. This is a variable to store the password, and this is the variable to store the Mongo connection string. I think one curly braces is more. Let's remove this one. This should be fine now. Yes. Now let's create an object here. FastAPI object. We're playing with this object to start FastAPI server. Now we need a client to talk to MongoDB. So let's create a client, Mongo client. Here we need a connection string. So here we have stored the connection string in var URL. So we'll be using var URL over here. So far what we have done, we have imported the classes, modules. This you might not need it because you can enter the password directly over here. Create an object here for FastAPI. We have to start the FastAPI server. And here we are using the client to connect to Mongo client. Now with this client, we'll be connecting from Python to MongoDB. Now as we need a table and a collection, so let's start over here creating a database first. Database is equals to client. Now what is client? Client is the Mongo client here. So as this is an object created for the Mongo client, so we'll be playing with this name now. Client. And let's keep the database as test database. Test database. Now we need to create a collection here. Collection is a kind of a tables, as if you know what RDBM is. There we have tables, here we have collections. So let's create a collection here with the name of my table. So far what we have done, we have imported classes, defined the connection string here in var URL, create an object for FastAPI, create a client for Mongo client, and here we are creating a database, and here we are creating a collection. Let's create a first endpoint to check FastAPI. A small function which will return a string. Return hello world. This is just to check how fast API is working, if it is fine or not, because if API is working, then only we can connect to MongoDB. So let's start at FastAPI. Save this file. Ubicon FastAPI Mongo, which is the name of our file. App is our object. Let's run this command. Let's see what this gives. Hello world. So this API is working. Let's create another endpoint which will be responsible to insert an entry in the Mongo database. Here we will use apv.put. Let's name it ins rec for insert record. And a parameter name, which is, let's give author name. Now define a function. Let's name this function as insert record. Here auth name, let's define as a string. and book written by the author. Let's make it optional to test how optional work. So it is not mandatory, it is optional. If you don't give the value of this one, it will still work. Now let's define a dictionary. Dictionary, and within this dictionary we will update the value for the input variables. It's here, record dictionary is equals to author will be given the value of our input parameter, which is author name. Then second is book. It will take the value of book variable, but it is optional. So if you provide the value of book, then only it will be inserted into the database, otherwise null. Now this is a dictionary. Now let's make an entry in the database. How we do that? The command is mydb, because this is the name of our database over here, which is mydb, which is using a client connection, and the name is test database dot my collection. What is collection? Is mydb, which is using this database. So this collection is stored in this mydb database with the name of my table. My collection dot insert one and my record, or let's do record dictionary, because this is the dictionary we are using. So now what we have done, we have created a new endpoint for insert record. Author name is a string, book is optional. Now first we defined over here that this is a dictionary, then we populate the value in the dictionary. It should be author here. Now let's find out whether this database and collection already exist or not. Go to MongoDB, go to collections. Now see, these are the list of databases we have, and there is no database by the name of test database. Now let's run the command to insert an entry in the Mongo database. Save this file. Go to Postman here, and what we have is ins rec and author name. Let's give it Peter, and it is put. Detail not found. What can be the error? Okay, I think the slash was missing. Save the file again. Now let's run this command. Okay, what it is saying is query author name MSC field required. Author name. Okay, so there is a error, should be the uppercase here. Let's save it again, and here also let's be consistent, use the same name, author name. Save the file again, run this command. It's null. Now let's go back to the Mongo database and see if this has created a new database or not. See, it has created a new database by the name of test database, my collection. See, there is a new entry created by the name of Peter and book null. Why null? because we did not give any value to book. Now if we give book as new book, run this command again, database. So it has created two entries because we have not created an index over there. So it will not check whether this particular entry should be overwritten or it should be created a new one. It will not be overwritten with the insert command, because insert one only insert an entry, will not overwrite it. Because for that we have to use upsert. That we'll discuss in the later tutorial or in some other tutorial. So it has created now two entries, Peter and new book. So what we have done is we have created this endpoint with the name of ins record. We create a function here. You can give any name of the function you want. Author name is mandatory, book is optional. Then we initialize this one. We update the this values author name to these variables, and then we use this dictionary name to create an entry. Now let's do the update record. We have inserted the record. Let's copy paste this section and change this as UPD record. Let's keep the author name as it is, and function should be now let's change this to update record, author name string, and now let's change the author name now. So let's give this, remove this book part here and give new name, which is also a string. Now this is not optional, this is also mandatory name. Just like for author name, we have to provide new name as well. And now we have to create two dictionaries. One is which will be a query dictionary, which will be needed to find the data in the database, and once that database is found, then we have to update it. So let's name it as my query and change this to author is equals to auth name. So the name is consistent as above, author name. Now this will be used as a query to query the database, and let's write a new dictionary which will insert the value. If this query satisfies, if the author name is found out in the database, then we will replace with the author name with a new name. So let's go for the new dictionary. The name is new values is equals to. Now here the syntax is $set. What we have to set? We have to set a new name of the author. Author with a new name. So what we did, this is a query which will find out the author name, and this is a new value which will substitute the name or old name with a new name. This will change to update one, and in this place it will be my query and new values. So what we have done here is created a new endpoint, update record, author name, function name is update record, author name, new name. This is a query which will search for this author name, and it's find out, then the new values will be replacing the old value. MyDB, my call, update one, my query. Let's run this one now. Save. UPD REC. UPD REC. What name we had before? Peter. If Peter is found out, then the new name should be Manush. Sent. Let's see. MongoDB. The name has changed to Manush. So normally what we have done is we have only updated the first record. So first record in the query will be changed from old name to new name. So what old name we had was Peter and then Manush. So it will pick up the first record and it will change it. Now if we run it again, then the second record will also be changed. So both names are Manush now. So what we have done so far, we have inserted the record, we have updated the record. Now let's try removing the record. Create another endpoint. Let's name this as del record. Name of the function is delete record. Author name is a string and we don't need new name now. So we only have author name, and now what we will do, we will create a new dictionary which will have the value of the author name, and that dictionary we will use it to remove one dictionary here. Let's name this dictionary as del record, and should be author is author name and remove is del record. So what we are doing here is, this is a new endpoint with the name of del record. It takes as a parameter as the author name and it triggers this function. This is a del record. So this will take author name as author name and will remove this record. Now let's run this endpoint del rec. Now del rec. Let's give the new updated name. Let's see what happens. Nothing gets removed. Let's try again. No, nothing gets removed. Let's see why. Go to the code, del record, author is author name is string, and then we are removing this one with del record. REMOVE, all good so far. Let's go to Postman, MANUSH. What's the name we have? Oh, we have double quotes here. That's the trouble. We should have updated our query before. So the insertion was wrong because initially we put the double quotes here. So if we don't put a double quote over here and we start all over again, let's see what happens. So finally it has removed the record. Let's do it again. Now insert record. Okay, let's go through the code again. This section of the code, we are importing the modules. In this variable we are storing the password. This is a MongoDB connection string. This is an object which is used to connect to FastAPI. This is the object which is used to connect to MongoDB. MyDB is this database name. My collection is a collection name. This is a default endpoint. Now this is insert endpoint, which will insert a record. As we have removed everything, let's start all over again just for a test. Insert record, go to Postman, insert record, and author name Stefan. Click. Let's go to MongoDB. Okay, a new entry is made. Stefan, book null. Now here, let's check this UPD record, which will have the author name and a new name. Now let's go to Postman. UPD record. Stefan. New name. To Peter. Let's run this one. Mongo database. So Stefan has changed to Peter. So both are working, insertion and updation. Let's try the last one, deletion record. DELREC. DELREC. And the name is the new name, which is Peter. Come to the MongoDB. So it has removed. So this is a basic CRUD operation using FastAPI and MongoDB. We are making use of different endpoints for insertion, updation, and deletion records. Guys, hope you have enjoyed the video. Just write in the comment section if you want me to make a video on another topic. See you in the next video. Thank you.